This is my new video entitled, Is It Possible to Survive a Nuclear Missile Attack? In recent days, more and more notable people are warning that the world is moving possibly to some type of nuclear conflict. When you look at the troubles in the Ukrainian war, China, Taiwan, North Korea, and other countries, it does appear the world is inching closer to some possible nuclear conflict. And I don't think I'm just crying wolf. If the unthinkable happens in the U.S., is it possible to survive a nuclear missile attack? This video will help you understand how you can be better prepared if this awful scenario actually plays out. As a child growing up in the 1960s and 70s, we lived daily with the fear and concern of Cold War nuclear war with the Soviet Union. It was a time when I vividly remember seeing civil defense signs on buildings where we were told to go into in the event of a missile attack. I also recall how we practiced duck and cover, going under our desks and leaning forward with our hands over our heads. Or maybe doing the same thing in the school hallways. I don't know if either of these would have saved any of us. But with world events again moving us possibly to major wars, maybe it's time that we looked again at preparations for a nuclear war. This video report titled, Is It Possible to Survive a Nuclear Missile Attack? If this disastrous scenario ever plays out, there are several things you can do to increase your chances of survival. First, if you're inside, stay inside and take cover. If you're outdoors, try to get as far away from the blast site as possible. If you're caught in the open, lie flat on the ground and cover your head. Second, stay away from windows, as the blast could shatter them and cause serious injury. Third, if you're in a car, stop the car and get as low to the ground as possible. Fourth, if you can get to a fortified building's basement or some type of bomb shelter, you'll be better off. If you're near the blast site, it's important to try to shield yourself from the radiation as much as possible. As to how far you need to be from the epicenter of a nuclear explosion to survive, there's no definitive answer. It depends on the size and yield of the nuclear weapon, the type of terrain and buildings in the area, and the weather conditions. Generally speaking, the farther away from the center of the blast, the greater your chances of survival will be. A nuclear war would be a horrendous experience to deal with, but there are areas in the U.S., as an example, that are remote enough away from larger metropolitan and population areas to protect you better from the eventual fallout, looting, and crime. However, they may also not give easy access to medical and hospital help that is needed. Whether during a nuclear attack you remain in large cities or choose to find remote locations, such as in the U.S. Northwest, there are things you can do. A prepared basement, bunker, or underground shelter are good places to ride out nuclear fallout, as long as they are well stocked. Let us now look at 6 important considerations for better surviving a nuclear attack. Have a plan. Find out where any nearby bomb shelters are located. The middle of any sturdy building or your basement are best options. Have a checklist of supplies and medications you'll need. Have an evacuation plan if you live near likely targets such as military installations or major ports. Make an emergency kit. Have enough supplies for 15 to 30 days. This would include copies of important documents, a battery-operated or hand-crank radio, a flashlight, and a basic first aid kit. Have a supply of potassium iodide tablets to protect your thyroid from radiation from nuclear fallout. Gather food. Stock up on non-perishable food that can last several weeks. These should include pasta, powdered milk, canned goods, sugar, oats, honey, and water, aiming to have 1 gallon supply per person per day. Find shelter fast. At the outset of a nuclear bomb attack, take shelter in your basement, underground shelter, or fortified building interior. Buildings or structures made of brick or concrete are the safest places you can take shelter in. If you construct any underground survival space in your basement, you'll need to check these things. Make sure the room is structurally sound. Fix cracks in the walls, floors, and drywall. Basements are notorious for dampness and moisture because of water seeping in. If left too long, standing water can also encourage mold and mildew growth. Basically, any existing underground shelter can be turned into an atomic shelter by thickening the concrete walls and making a few other adjustments. The more mass you can put between yourself and the fallout, the better. Surround the shelter area with an extra layer of either brick or cinder block. Protect yourself and others. If you enter your shelter after the blast, remove any clothing and other objects exposed to the outdoors. Try to clean yourself. Wash your hands and other body parts that have encountered possible fallout. Don't touch your eyes, nose, and mouth. Ideally, you may want to purchase respirator masks to protect you from breathing in fallout contaminants. Also, consider an air filtration system when possible. Shelter down. Stay in your shelter for at least 48 hours. After the first 48 hours, it's still good to limit your time outdoors for at least 8 to 9 more days. So there you have it. Obviously, we'd all rather not have to deal with a nuclear attack in America. If you're near the blast center, realistically, your chances of survival are very small. But if you live further away or can get away to more rural America beforehand, your chances of survival increase if you've made proper preparations. This is H.A. Graves.